Okay. I think definitely Faeology is going to be an interesting one that we're going to try. There were some like detective, investigative elements to the game that I saw in the trailer, so I'm excited to see. Okay, I did remember getting an email from them, so let me just reread the email in case I missed something. That's on Faeology. Okay, what did they say? The demo can take over 2 hours if every line is read out loud. Okay. Investigation UI is still a little rough. The demo doesn't yet have a log system, so it may help to keep a notebook nearby for jotting down details. Okay, got it. Thank you so much to Mushroom Mallow for reaching out for me to play the prologue of this. This is called Death and Faeology. It is a visual novel, if I'm not mistaken, and the demo is around 2 hours long if you read out everything out loud. We're gonna get like a really just a small preview of it. Name Hime. Because I'm not gonna be playing a full 2 hours just yet. Maybe if it interests me enough, then we'll have one day where we do play it. Like to the end of the demo. Okay, hold on. Let me just move this down a little bit. Okay, there we go. Grading first-year assignments can be such an exercise in patience. I ought to remind myself that Faeology is a relatively recent study, only a couple of decades old. The only Faeology university in the whole country, was just finished being built in 1905. It's still barely acknowledged in the academic field. More importantly, I've got to keep in mind that children inherit their parents' prejudices and misconceptions. The human world thus forms its own notions of fairies. Alas, I find myself unable to suppress a big sigh every time I read references of poison apples ushering princesses into eternal sleep. And a reference to the Cottingly fairies is one I can understand since it was quite a sensation not too long ago, although it would be clear in the eyes of renowned Faeologists that the photographs are mere imitations. A pity that Sir Doyle was taken in by it. I ought to take a break. The grading season today has taken me quite a tangent. Oh, happy Teacher's Day to our dear friend there. My beloved Oz. I suppose having a fairy companion does give one an advantage in identifying genuine fairies. I'd say a break is in order, wouldn't you, Oz? Oz responds to thrills that I learned to interpret over decades I've known them. The Cottonleaf fairies again? Yes, and princesses' eternal slumber due to poisoned apples. We don't care much for human princesses, but making poisoned apples is rather an easy feat. Shall I turn one of them into a toad in front of the whole class to show that Fae folk is capable of more than that? At the same time showing them that not all fairies are a friendly bunch? I can't help but chuckle at the thought of that. I believe some might just quit the same day if you do that. Besides, if other Faeologists get a hold of your existence, who knows what they'll do to you? Chances are high these people will try to pin you to a corkboard and vivisect you. I would never let that happen. I've always appreciated you pursuing Faeology to ensure that. This is the least I could do. We've known each other since I was 7. You've saved me countless times since. Well, you could have let me bleed to death when you found me. I would never. I can hear a delightful melody of chirps laced with a touch of whimsy, which makes me feel just a tad fizzy. It seems that even the laugh of fairies possess some magical quality. While you're on break, isn't there something else on your agenda this afternoon? Right, Mr. Henkel's letter. Thank you for reminding me. I retrieved a letter from my patron from a desk drawer. Hi, Brad, welcome in. I lean back in my chair and read the missive aloud to myself. Dear Hime, how long are you going to keep me in suspense? Will you or will you not accompany me to this year's Leo's Gala? You could do a lot worse than forgetting your boring books for a moment in favor of willing away an evening with champagne and canapes? An invigorating company. Oh my gosh, yeah, Demon Slayer is so good. And when I say invigorating, I'm not speaking of those old styles of deep pockets ready to be exploited by way of funding grants for your research. I'm speaking, of course, of yours truly. Do write me sometime before Saturday. That's tomorrow's date, isn't it? Oh, I know, my delay in responding is entirely by design, I assure you. I'd hate to be getting the look from the crowd like I'm a wet blanket. Faeology isn't worth my dough, they'd say. Oz's replying triply is decidedly indignant. I nod and to Oz in agreement before returning to Mr. Henkel's letter. In other news, I've heard that little Ruthie Blythe caused a minor ruckus in the city's hottest speakeasy. If your old friend Detective Krause hadn't been in the area at the time as well, who knows what could have happened. I find myself rather perturbed at this revelation. This is a horror game, right? It is part of the Hungry Ghost Festival, but I'm not sure if this would fall into the horror genre specifically. What we can do is visit the Steam page to see the tags. Okay, it's more a visual novel, interactive fiction, detective, noir. So a bit of sleuthing and a bit more of like the storytelling of this new world. I would have telephoned Ruby and asked what the story was like when we were children. However, for better or for worse, we aren't on friendly terms anymore. I resumed reading on my patron's letter. Speaking of the detective, have you two been keeping in contact? He gave me the cold shoulder when I crossed paths with him at last week's benefit. I couldn't help assuming that his persistently frosty treatment of me might have something to do with you. It's unfortunate that the extensive bonds you have with him should end in rather bitter taste. As you have told me more than once, when it was good there was nothing else quite like it. Yet you speak very little of him now, and I find myself wondering if he still holds a place in that guarded heart of yours. The letter is signed, Yours Everlasting Oscar Henkley. Well, I've kept Mr. Henkel waiting long enough. I press a pen to the fresh sheet of paper to commence crafting a response. Just then, a familiar rhythmic rapping pierces the silence. I glance in the direction of Oz, but they're nowhere to be seen. Oz must have camouflaged himself in a heartbeat. I put Mr. Henkel's letter in the drawer before calling out, "Come in, Minnie!" My assistant enters the office. She's careful to snap the door shut behind her. "Professor." "Yes, Minnie?" "Were you talking to yourself again?" "Ah, that's right. You know me." "I see. Sometimes I wonder what she must have thought when hearing the mumbling sounds of me speaking with Oz. But she knows when not to poke her nose into things. One of the things I like about her, and also what makes her the bee's knees, is when it comes to being an assistant. Oh, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he's here." "Who?" "The police detective from the newspapers." "Police detective?" Even as I echo these two words, there's a sinking feeling in my stomach. You know, the man who made you crumple the paper and toss them in the trash can? In the end, we had to stop our subscription for the dailies. "Detective Theodore Krauss?" "Yes, that's the one." Knowing Theo is here makes my world momentarily go off kilt. Imagine if Oz isn't real, right? What if we were just imagining him the entire time? But it seems like there's a whole field of study in this world about the Faes, so I'm assuming that we aren't just imagining him. It's as if by the magic of the fairy tales I malign, the ink in my patron's letter has manifested him into the reception area. "Can't you tell him I'm out delivering a lecture on the far side of the campus or something?" "That depends. Is a lie like that going to deter the man?" An astute question. She's truly wise beyond her years. Probably not. He'd happily traverse the entire campus just to torment me, I'm guessing. All right, let him in. With a brisk nod, Minnie returns to the reception area. I barely have time for a steadying breath before Theo barges in. He drops the box on my desk right off the bat. "What is this? Why is he in my office?" Well, look who the cat dragged in. "Not even how do you do?" "What, do niceties suddenly mean something to you?" "He's quite handsome, isn't he?" "I seem to recall you packing your bags and moving out without so much as a goodbye." "There was no one to say goodbye to. Didn't you find out I left only a few days later?" "At least it made it easier for you to leave, didn't it?" There's a tinge of hurt in his voice that I'm only able to pick up because we lived together for several months. As my mouth struggles to catch the words hanging in the air, I feel a piercing, icy silence creeping in. I ought to break the silence before I freeze. What's in the box?" He lets out a deep sigh that sounds rather like relief. "Your things that somehow you didn't take with you when you left. Even that oddly crafted handkerchief you love so much." "That handkerchief was a gift for you." I see the corner of his mouth twitch. He is lying. What should I do with this information? Okay, let's reach out to the box to check. As I quickly stretch out my hand to the box, he is just as fast in catching my wrist before I can open it. I withdraw my hand from his grip swiftly, like a startled bird soaring into the sky. That truly caught me off guard. I've forgotten what his hand feels like. Ooh, we have history? That's spicy. I was only kidding, although you really haven't changed much, have you? You just went straight for it. He sounds amused and slightly pleased, as if he confirmed the accuracy of one of his deductions. Neither have you. I threw away all of it right after you vanished, he says with a subtle squint in his left eye, another lying tale of his. Squint in his left eye? And twitch in mouth. Okay, lies. I can't help but sigh at his antics. Of course you did. So what's really in the box? Want to take a guess? I do have an idea. Knowing him, he'd sooner face the whole the Al Capone gang by himself and take their bullets before coming to visit me. This must be way more important than our poignant history. Case evidence? I've seen boxes like this one before, but never one quite so large. It's a really big case, isn't it? He nods. The biggest one in my career. And to come to me of all people, you must be at your wits' end about this. He looks away as if trying to hide how galling the circumstances at hand are. Truth be told, I'd rather face the whole Al Capone gang and take their bullets than have to see you again. Gee, that stings a little. So why would you? Wait, hold on a minute. You think this has some sort of connection to fairies? He flicks his tongue in exasperation. Oh my, it seems I've hit the bullseye. We stopped talking about fairies at some point when we were still together. Those talks always led to heated discussions and then the arguments because nothing I could say could change his skepticism towards mystical beings. This is certainly the chance to tease him about it, although it might be unwise considering the emotional peril he must have gone to get here. What should I do next? Tease him! Of course! Oh, this must be killing you, Mr. I don't believe in things I can't see. He lets out a loud and sharp exhale, this time with a touch of indignation. Dry up, will you? I still don't believe they exist. I've been running around in circles with this case. For all I know, the perpetrators could be magicians playing tricks. But then I remember the crazy stuff a loony from a formerly betrothed once told me, and my hunch got... Oh! We were formally betrothed! Oh! He was our ex-fiance. That's crazy. Okay. I approve. And I ended up here. Seems like I touched a nerve. He must have been under a lot of pressure if he talks about a blue streak like this. The case must be beyond big. My mistake. Guess I got a little carried away there. So, what makes this case so significant? Why do you think it relates to fairies? Are you even allowed to tell me? I hear the sound of a chuckle under the breath like a bolt from the blue. For a brief moment, his gaze on mine seems to revert to how it used to be, until the seriousness returns to his face. Oh, his soft eyes were so nice for that 1 second. First things first, since I'm leading the investigation, I do have some discretion on what details to divulge and to whom. That is, if the confidant can bring value to the investigation, and I've known for a fact that you can be discreet. Still, I must ask your sworn secrecy on this matter. You got it. So, tell me about the case. Why does it seem to be part of a paramount importance? It's a multiple murder case potentially perpetrated by a single culprit. The victims are chiefly middle-aged women residing north of the city. Hold on. Multiple murders. Middle-aged women. North of city. Okay. They're from old money families. Old money. The type that makes regular appearances at high society events. I see. No wonder you're all tensed up. You're telling me. Chief took me off every other case and insisted I put in all my time and effort into this. It's only a matter of time until the press catches wind and makes a circus of everything. And with some of the victims' peculiar manners of death... This is where the fairies come in? He silently stares and then sighs. I swear I must be losing my mind. You've got this. Now he draws in a long, deep breath. 3 of the victims had a manner of death that the unit has never seen or heard of before. Never seen or... 3? Never seen before method of death? What? Okay. Body hardened into bony tissue overnight. Carved wooden statue look. What? Without finding out what caused these deaths and more importantly who did this, the press could spin the stories out of control. I don't want to imagine the look on the victims' families' faces if and when the papers are making raz of these poor women's deaths. Besides, what kind of sick, depraved bastard goes around murdering women in such a way? The city's already running on fumes, crimes becoming more rampant day by day. People shouldn't have to look over their shoulder every night. That's no way to live. Even as he lapses into silence, I say nothing. It's not just the city. The rising crime is bleeding him dry too. Yet I'm unsure of what words could soothe those who are fighting it on the front line. I've never been where they are. The frown lines between his eyebrows grow deeper. You know, considering the victims' backgrounds, having these murders be exaggerated in papers would pressure the families to insist on closing the case as soon as possible. No matter the cost, no matter who's to blame. You're right. Innocent people are going to bear the brunt for this. It's a terrible situation. Ooh. Is there anything you can do? I'm just one man. Try as I might, I can't keep those rotten police brass from lining their pockets. Nothing but a pack of lowlives in high places. Oh, so this place is also corrupt. Okay. Oh. Well, you're a good listener, better than most. He curls his lips into an almost smile. Oh, Theodore. I don't mind at all. Alright, let's get down to the brass tacks. This box includes case files, crime scene photos, a couple blood samples which I was able to request to bring to you, and several other pieces of evidence. Other than the strange manners of death I've said, forensics were puzzled too by the blood samples. Blood samples. One of them doesn't contain iron. No iron? That's interesting. Nothing surprises you, does it? Well, about this peculiarity, I bring up something from my fairy books, but you always find a way to deny it. You're right about that. I'm still investigating the possibility of unknown drugs or poisons that somehow cause these oddities, but I'd be a fool not to go into my hunches and look at all the possibilities. What about robbery? It's ruled out. No fingerprints, no evidence of breaking in, nothing had been stolen. Motives? Revenge? Still interviewing the city elites looking for possible motives, but it takes time, you know how it is. Wow, that's a lot of information that we can't seem to get. I said people, but yes, that man in particular would be helpful in this manner. He scoffs brazenly and doesn't even try to hide it. Even after first meeting with Mr. Henkel, there was some inexplicable tension between the two. Theo said something about Mr. Henkel feeling off and always hated whenever I had something to do with him, though it might just be jealousy in disguise. You know, I'm right. Even if he's barely in the newspapers, he's most likely at the pinnacle of high society, and I don't think he'll mind if I ask him a few things about this. Why, of course, he's always got a soft spot for you. Well, he's probably carrying a torch for you for a long time, judging by the way he follows you everywhere. Well, he happened to be interested in Faeology and has a lot of money to allow its development. Look at you, all ready to defend him. What, are you two an item now? I might have steered this reunion right back to where we were months ago by bringing up Mr. Henkel, but it was necessary to mention him. I don't know anybody else would have that much information about high society. Besides, there has never really been anything. Even if we did go to fundraising events together from time to time, it was strictly business. Yet again, Theo seems to lose his reason whenever we talk about Mr. Henkel. I don't have the time or energy to argue with him. What should I do? Try to make him see reason. Does it matter? You came here despite everything. You knew you've got to do whatever it takes to solve the case. So do it. He's taken aback by what I said and plunges into his own thoughts. I swear one of these days he'll be the end of me. Fine. I'll just make sure he can keep it under his hat. Okay. One of the blood doesn't contain iron. Okay. I'll take this as you agreeing to help. That's right, there are lives at stake. He lets out a soft smile as though in quiet agreement with what I said. Thank you. Well, if you think it'll be helpful. You can even ask the people you mentioned what they know of using the evidence items. Okay. Does this mean you'll be willing to hear about fairies? About Faeology? That depends. If this was indeed fairy doings, and if it through your investigation you can provide solid theories on 3 things. Hold on. Culprit, method, motive, okay? Supported by evidence. I'm sticking with the idea that there's a logical explanation, an earthy one for now. Alright, we have approximately 24 hours? That's barely enough time. Oh no. Okay. Accept. Bring it on, detective. This brings a grin to his almost consistently brooding expression. Good. If you need anything from me, just ring me. Aye, sir. But you need to promise me that you'll not just hear me out, but also keep an open mind on fairy topics if I succeed in what you asked. I promise, but I can't promise not to scoff from time to time. That's good enough. I have to get going. Alright, let's go. Says you, the one who had to stop the daily paper subscription just because some detective kept getting the headlines. How do you? Before I could finish, he had walked toward the door and opened it. See you tomorrow around the same time. Oh my gosh! The tension between these two is so delicious! Now, I haven't gotten to any of the investigative elements yet, but I am so excited to try more of this. There are going to be parts where we can analyze evidence, I think, and read like some of the newspaper clippings and evidence files, but we hadn't gotten to that point yet. Bro asked the detective how he knows about something that can be investigated. True. So there are like 3 main people that we're hearing of right now. There's Theodore, and then there's MC, and then there's Mr. Henkel, which is an unfortunate name, it feels like. He just sounds like he's a heckler. Alright, so I'm gonna stop here. But maybe one of these days we're gonna come back to it because our 20 minutes to feature the game unfortunately is up. But I am loving the setup so far, and I really want to finish the demo at some point. So unfortunately, for the rest of the Hungry Ghost Festival, I am occupied with other features. But if we are able to, I will make some time to play this again because this is just so interesting to me personally. I love a good like tea sesh, and the whole mystical being thing is also very interesting. So I'm excited to see what else there is to this. Alrighty, let's go. So this is just a prologue of Death and Faeology. I'm not sure whether there is an estimated release date. Let me go search it up actually. Steam, Death and Faeology. Faeology? This is the investigative part that you can take a look at a bit more.
The detective needs your help. A silent killer is stalking the streets of New York.
So if you want to go check it out, the demo is available for you to download and try. According to the devs, it is about a 2-hour demo, but there is no log yet. So if you want, it's good to keep a notebook nearby to write some notes. So this is Theodore Kraus, our ex-betrothed, Oscar Henkel, the patron, Minerva, Ruthie Blythe, Florence Rayford, all beautiful people.
Investigate the evidence.
Look at all this. We've got so much more to explore.
Fine.
Only a Faeologist can uncover the truth. I don't even know what a Faeologist is, but judging by the theme of this game, it's a really new area of study for this world. But it's also because we have known a Fae since we were 7, so we know that they're real, you know? Alright, so with that said, check out Death and Faeology, add it to your wish list, and the planned release date is to be announced, but the demo is available for you to try.